I'm just simply head over heels to be featured in both of these magazines. Oh my God. Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with you all today. So today's video is going to be a little bit different because I have been featured in 2 yarn magazines. I'm so excited to share this with you all today. So let's go ahead and get started. And if you hear some noise in the background, I do apologize. My neighbor is cutting the grass. So, alright, so let's go ahead and get into the first magazine. The first magazine is by Interweave Knits, and this is the cover. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. Beautiful, beautiful cover. And I have some pages marked off here. Let's see. So this page is the one that, excuse me. This page is the one with my yarn on it. It's a beautiful flat lay photo. I just absolutely love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I just love it. So this has my yarn on it. And also on the page there are some other makers as well. There's a pair of scissors. There is a pen, a glass cable needle, and of course my yarn in the Minnesota DK base, and the knitting book, Knitting for Radical Self-Care. So it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's so cool. And excuse me, this pollen, y'all, like, anybody else having trouble with pollen? Oh my goodness, it's making me lose my voice and get all hoarse and everything. But this happens to me every year, so I'm used to it. Alright, so there are a few sweaters in this book that I absolutely love. Now, they're not made by me, or like, they're not made using my yarn. But I think they're absolutely beautiful. So the first one is this one. And of course, you all know that I love purple. This sweater is absolutely beautiful. And I am going to be posting photos of these sweaters so you all can get a better look at them. But this one has a beautiful blue bird on it. And it is called the Ava sweater. And it is by Hugh Wang Harbour. I may be saying that wrong, forgive me. So that is the first sweater. And the second sweater is actually the cover sweater. This is not gorgeous? I mean, look at that stitch work, that stitch definition. That's some next level knitting. That's amazing. This is called the Prasine Sweater by Kristen Tendite. Absolutely beautiful. So yes, I'm so grateful to be in this magazine. I really am. Just so grateful. And I will show you all the yarn that was featured in this magazine. So I went ahead and took the ball bands off of these. I really think you can see the yarn better without the yarn ball around them. But the first one is called Orchid. Excuse me. Not Orchid. This one is called Elsa. And of course you can see the Frozen reference because it's this beautiful blue color. So this one is called Elsa. And this one is called Orchid. It's a beautiful tonal purple color. And you can see little specks of light purple and almost a pink color in it. And it's gorgeous. It's so, so pretty. So this is Orchid and Elsa. They look so fun together. And last but certainly not least is Ruby. And it's this really beautiful heathered purple, heathered red color. Can't get my words today. It's a beautiful heathered red color. And it is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So pretty. So these are the 3 colors that were featured by me in the Interweaves magazine, in the Interweave Knits magazine. It was absolutely incredible to be featured. And of course, those yarns are on my Minnesota DK base, and they are 50% superwash merino wool, 50% cotton DK. And each skein has 231 yards, 100 grams. And let's see, what else? Let's see, am I missing something? Oh, 4-ply. It's a 4-ply. All right. So let's move on to the second magazine. All right. So this next magazine is gorgeous. Here it is. It is by Nomadic Knits, and it is issue 11, Head Over Heels. Y'all, I am just head over heels with this magazine. I love it. I am just so excited. I am just simply head over heels to be featured in both of these magazines. Oh my gosh, it's so cool to open a magazine and see your yarn in there, and it's just incredible. And what I love about this magazine is that not only is my yarn featured, but my yarn is featured in projects. They turned my yarn into a hat pattern and a sock pattern. So I'm just so excited. And so let's go ahead and get into the magazine. Beautiful cover. So I'm not going to show too much of these magazines. These are paid magazines, and I will leave the link to these magazines in the description box below. I'm not affiliated with either one of these magazine companies, but they did feature me. So if you'll be interested in getting a copy, I will leave a link in the description box below. Alright, so I have a few pages marked off. What I absolutely love is that as soon as you open the page, down here in the corner are the two editors, and Melissa and Becky, and they are wearing the hats, and one of them is wearing my hat, and that's so cool. You open the magazine, and well, not my hat, but the yarn that was used as my yarn, and it's so cool to see that as soon as you open the magazine. So she's wearing the hat pattern, and let's see, what else do we have? There's a lot in here that I really like. It took me a while to just really narrow down what I wanted to share with you all. Oh, and this magazine, it has more than just like crochet and knitting in it. It actually has a recipe in here. It's like it's an alcoholic drink. It's made with vodka and Patron. Fancy. Yeah, so it has more in here than just yarn and knitting and patterns and crochet and all that good stuff. Alright, so here is the first photo. So this is the hat right here. This is the hat that the editor was wearing in the first page. And so it really just goes to show you that it's a very universal hat. But the name of the hat is called the Lumpy Hat, and it is made in the colorway Bronzer. And that's one of my colorways in the colorway, no, sorry, not Bronzer, Gemstone. We're going to get to Bronzer. But it's made using my colorway, Gemstone, and it looks absolutely amazing. It does remind me of Bronzer though, because of the bronze speckles that's in the colorway Gemstone, and I'll show you those two colorways in just a second, but it's absolutely beautiful. So moving on the next page, here is where we have Bronzer, and they use Bronzer to make the socks, and those are the lumpy socks that they use to make the Bronzer out of. And also, I am just so happy with the bio that they put in here about me. I mean, it's so accurate. It's exactly what I wanted, and I just love that. The editors for both magazines were just so nice and so great to work with, and I really enjoyed it. So it looks like, and I have not had the chance to go through both magazines entirely. But yeah, so it looks like there's quite a few different people featured throughout this magazine. So it's so neat to be able to kind of like collaborate with people in a way. So it's really cool to see how my yarn works with other makers. It's just, yeah, it's super, super exciting. So I love it. And this magazine itself is so cool. I did want to show, let's see. Oh yeah. And here is like the back of the hat. Amazing, right? And yep. And here's another picture of the socks. Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful magazine. And it has graph paper in the back. It has paper for you to write notes. It has graph paper in the back. Like, that's so neat. I don't know if you all can see that or not, but it's a really, really cool magazine. It's a very, very thick magazine, which is why I have not been able to go through the whole thing. There's tons and tons of patterns in here. Yeah, there's a lot of patterns in here. I haven't even went through and counted all the patterns that are in here, but it is a lot, a lot. So let's go ahead and get into the colors in the Nomadic Knits magazine. And the first color I'm going to share is Bronzer. This is Bronzer. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love this colorway so much. But this is Bronzer. And the colorway, and this was used for the lumpy socks. And the colorway that was used for the lumpy hat is Gemstone. I love Gemstone. There's so many different colors packed into Gemstone. It's absolutely beautiful. And by the way, for the lumpy hat and the lumpy sock, they did use a DK weight for that. A DK weight. Here are the two colors together. And so I do have the Delirious DK base in my shop. But if you can't find it in the Delirious DK base, I do have another DK base in my shop as well, which they are available on. So these two just look so beautiful together. And I love when people make projects featuring these two yarns. It's just so pretty. But we got Gemstone and Bronzer. So soft. So squishy. Love it. And each skein is still 231 yards for ply. And so, yeah, I absolutely love it. Just, yeah. So those are the two colorways for the Nomadic Knits. All right, so I'm looking around. I do believe that's all for the actual magazine. But to go ahead and jump into the next segment, I wanted to jump into bavardon. And of course, bavardon is just the French word for chat. So let's chat. All right, so today's topic is a funny one. I think this one kind of gets people going when they talk about it. But today's question is, do you pull from the center of the yarn ball or the outside of the yarn ball? Okay, so I know people have a lot of opinions. But if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, so of course, the ball of yarn, you know, it has two tails, two ends, and it has the outside, and then it has the inside one. Now, I can't tell where my inside one is, so you all already can tell that I am an outside puller. So I wasn't always an outside puller. For the longest time, I used to be a center puller. And I changed because I got so tired of the yarn bar, or the yarn baby, as some people would say. But it's basically like when you're pulling out the center piece of yarn and like another little chunk of yarn comes out as well. Yes, I got so tired of the yarn barf. Another reason is because if you center pull, then when the yarn starts to get low, then the yarn ball will kind of cave in on itself. And I cannot stand that. I can't stand when the yarn ball caves in on itself. It's just a mess. So I prefer to pull from the outside. Now, one of the downsides or the cons to pulling from the outside is that if you don't contain the yarn, it will go everywhere. It will go down the hallway. It will roll into the kitchen. It will roll down to that awful, like if you have a recliner, you know that hole in the recliner where you lose everything? Your yarn will roll into there. It will roll everywhere. So most people that are outside pullers, they have like a yarn bowl or a basket or something to kind of wrangle their yarn while they're working with it. And, you know, the yarn can kind of bobble around while it's inside of the container. So, so yeah. So let me know if you are an outside puller or an inside puller or a center puller and why. Something that I really hadn't paid attention to was I read somewhere that sometimes people, they don't like the center pull because it adds an extra twist to the yarn when they're pulling it out. I don't know, have you all heard of that? That's something that's really never bothered me before, but I mean, I guess it's a valid point, you know? Yeah, just let me know if you've ever heard of that. But for me, I pull from the outside just for basically two reasons. One, I don't like the yarn barf. And two, I don't like when the yarn starts to cave in the middle and then it's just, you know, it's just all weird and stuff. So that's just me. But yeah, so I made the change several years ago to go from a center pull to an outside pull. But like I said, hey, let me know what you think. If you don't agree and you're like, no, center pull is best, by all means, let me know in the description box below. All right, you look around. I think that is everything. I would love to know you all's thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, bye.